I'd like to call the August 5th, 2019 meeting for the town to order, please. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Upcoming meetings. National Night Out is Tuesday, August 6th, which is tomorrow night at 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. here at in the community park. Is it going to be here at the office or in the community park?
Community park.
Community park, okay. Parks and Recreation Committee meeting will be Tuesday, August 20th at 7:30 p.m. here at the town office. Last day to register to vote will be Friday, August the 30th. Last day to file for elections is Friday, August the 30th by 4 p.m. And the next town council meeting will be Tuesday, right? Not Monday. Monday's Labor Day.
Correct.
Tuesday, September the 3rd
Yes.
at 7:30 p.m. here at the town office. Is there any other meetings or anything anybody has? You guys? Okay. Approval of meeting minutes for July 1st, 2019 town meeting. Is there any corrections or modifications to the meeting minutes as presented from anybody on the board?
I had none.
Tim?
No, sir.
No? Glenn?
No, I'm good.
I don't have any either. I need a motion to approve the meeting minutes as
I
presented.
make a motion to approve the meeting minutes as presented.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Buckman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner O'Donnell. All in favor of the meeting minutes, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any nays? Motion carries 5-0. Police report.
Good evening, council.
Good
Evening.
How are you guys doing?
Fine,
Okay.
you?
Good, doing good. So I have the monthly report for July. I'm Deputy First Class A Halt from the Sheriff's Office and the Community Deputy for Emmitsburg. Start off at the top. Calls for service. Been no burglaries this month, which is awesome. Noise complaints, we had 4. They were just minor. Suspicious activities. We had 3 of those this month. Nothing serious or anything to report. 2 assaults this month. We had some domestic situations in town, but they were dealt with accordingly, and we should have no more problems out of that. Assist other police agencies. We had 4 calls for service with them. 2 thefts. Again, it gets back to locking your vehicles at night and securing them. Those thefts were, one was a shared attic space where some items were taken off of Main Street, and the other one was theft from an auto that was left unlocked. We're currently reviewing surveillance footage in that and investigating that. Juvenile complaints, 1. No frauds this month, which is good. Alarm calls, 8. Assistant fire department, 4. No destruction of properties. Disorderly conducts, 10. We just had a few of those this month. Trespasses, 2. 911 calls, 20. Accidentals. Proactive enforcement, we had 7 talks cards. Walking patrols, 12. Patrol techs, 109. 4 bike patrols, so we're slowly getting them down. Traffic stats for the month. Ben was off a little bit, so we were down in stops, 89 total. Citations, 25. Warnings, 114. And 1 traffic parking complaint. Let's see here. Selective enforcements, we ran 2 of those. We did have 2 collisions this month. One was DUI related. Traffic arrests, we had 3. Criminal arrests, we had 1. Juvenile, 0. No warrant services or criminal summons. We had none of those. Additional information, White House had 7 court days, 8 days of leave, and in service. I had 3 court days and 4 days of leave. We did have a non-fatal overdose. 1 person deceased was accidental. Theft from unlocked vehicles, again, just want to put that out to the community that keep your doors locked. After 9, lock them up. We'll be meeting with the Mount staff to discuss students residing in town this school year soon. And then I'd just like to add that with the mass shootings, just if you see something, say something. And let's stay on top of that and be vigilant, keep the community safe.
I have a question. I understand you've been getting through the community and getting to know a lot of people, and that's wonderful. I think you're doing a good job. I'm hearing a lot of really positive things about
Thank you.
I know you have a special interest in the drug issues in town, and how's that been going?
Very well. I can't go into specifics about them, but I can tell you that we are working diligently with our narcotics enforcement section to basically run all the traffickers out of town and to help as many users get off of the stuff that's in town. So it's a slow process, but I can guarantee you and the council and the community that we are not resting on the matter, and we are working diligently to execute everything we can to rid the town of narcotics.
That's great. And I know that in the past, you guys have said that if you see something unusual, you see a lot of foot traffic in and out of a house, maybe sheets or towels or whatever in front of windows, sort of unusual behavior, how should people respond? Do they dial 911 for that? Doesn't seem like an emergency.
Yeah,
What
you
do
can
we
shoot
do?
us emails. Emails are great through the community deputies, and I answer them even if I'm off. I always check my phone, and respond back, and I'll let them know my days I'll be back to work or whatnot, and let them know that their complaint has been received and that I'm working on it.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's fine.
Anybody got any other questions? Alrighty. Town managers report.
Busy listening to him. Good evening. This is Town Manager's Report for June of 2019. I'll highlight some of the key areas in the different departments. Related to streets, contractor installed new storm drain pipes at the front of the farmers market. Staff installed the wayside signs on East and West Main Street. They repainted a crosswalk on North Seaton Avenue. Contractor blacktopped the entrance to the farmers market in an area of a water leak on North Seaton Avenue, and staff weed killed around all the guardrails. In the parks, in addition to conducting the daily park checks and conducting the monthly park maintenance, staff installed recycling-only signs in the park, installed sod around the curb boxes by the pool pavilion. They assisted with the materials and equipments for all the various community events, the pool parties, concert in the parks, and Community Heritage Day. The staff removed and trimmed some trees in Community Park, and new locks were installed on the men's door in the Community Park bathroom. The front door was sticking. Related to water, Rainbow Lake is still at the spillway level of 16.6 feet. Roughing filters are still only being backwashed twice a day, and the DEs are done one time a week. The well levels are still at their optimum level. Wells 1, 2 are on. Well 5 is on. Water production and consumption. We produced an average of 265,628 gallons per day and consumed an average of 237,799 gallons per day, making the difference is backwash water, and that's 11.8%. We purchased 434,200 gallons of water from the Mount in the month of June. The month of June received approximately 4.0 inches of precipitation. The average is 4.4. However, we still have a precipitation surplus of 6.58 inches over the last 6 months. Wastewater treatment, we treated an average of 428,000 gallons per day and consumed 237,799 gallons per day, which means for the month of June, we actually had wild water at 44.4%, which is significantly down from the month of May. We had no spills of untreated sewage, and we did not exceed the plant's design capacity at any time during the month of June. Trash pickup for September will remain Mondays with the exception of Labor Day. Trash will be picked up on Tuesday, September 3rd. Notice will be posted on the social media website and Channel 99 in an effort to remind people, put your trash out for Tuesday. Next category is just some of the highlighted meetings I had or attended in June. I also attended the MML Summer Conference at the end of June. Some noteworthy items, staff completed the LED grant-funded project, which staff replaced the majority of the regular light bulbs in the public works buildings, the wastewater treatment plant, and the water treatment plant with LED lighting through a funded, no cash needed project. Staff repaired water leaks on North Seaton Avenue and DePaul Street. The consumer confidence report for water was sent to MDE and sent out in the quarterly water bill at the end of June. The borings were completed for the future new pumping station. We are still waiting notification from USDA if we receive the first initial $30,000 grant. The backwash pond was pumped out. The last phase of the riprap was completed at Rainbow Lake, so now that project, the 3-year project, is now complete. And staff assisted Chesapeake Wildlife with a tour of the designated conservation areas. And that concludes the manager's report for June.
I just have a quick question.
Okay, Commissioner comments on
It-
to the man.
Oh.
Go ahead, Commissioner Buckner.
I was just wondering, have we any updates from the state on the bridge? Has anything changed, or are we still,
End of December.
still? Okay.
Yes, that was the last that the state progress meeting. Excuse me, that was held in July. They're looking towards December now of this year. They have replaced their SHA primary contact. She has moved on to another project, and we haven't met the new contact yet. I believe that's supposed to be happening within the next week or two.
That doesn't mess anything up.
So
Is that completely finished in December, or is that including storm drain and sidewalks?
that's what we're hoping.
Because the bridge looks like it's almost done.
Right.
The brick work on that's nice.
Yeah, it looks very good.
Commissioner O'Donnell?
Regarding the bridge, did they provide a reason why they're moving it back from mid-August to December?
Just delays. I think they overshot their schedule to the end of August. I don't think there's been any significant delays. I think they were a little anxious to get completed themselves, and I think they just overshot their deadline.
Second item related to the Chesapeake Wildlife tour of the, I'm assuming Scott Road Farm, is that correct?
Correct.
Any feedback or interactions?
No, I
of
haven't
note?
heard anything back from them other than thanking the staff for walking them through. They said everything looked good. They may have had a few concerns with some areas, but they would be back in touch with us. So I'm hoping they're not significant since we haven't heard anything.
And that ends again,
2023.
2023, my favorite year. Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Ritz?
I didn't have any questions, just a comment touching on the trash pickup. That week, too, would be Recycle Week, and due to the holiday, that will get pushed back as well. So Recycle Pickup will be on Saturday the 7th.
Correct.
Just a friendly reminder for everyone.
Yes.
Commissioner Blanchard?
A couple things. On the bridge, is it possible in September meeting to request the new SHA person to come and just give maybe a couple comments on the mic about, December and project deadlines and everything else?
Yeah,
I know it's a request, but
we can request it. I think that will be introduced at the probably be introduced to them at the August progress meeting,
Okay.
which is not next week, but the following week, on a Thursday. So
Okay,
we'll request it.
cool. It just might be nice to get something that maybe in the press about
Okay.
what the official word is and everything else. And so, a couple of things. I've been in contact with yourself, and then I know obviously it's a hot season and everything else. Silo Hill Park, there was some things on the town website about a little TLC up at that park. Any update on that as far as that's concerned?
The weeds have been cleared from
Okay.
Silo Hill, and we have run out of mulch, so we
Okay.
have an order placed with the contractor.
Okay.
And once the mulch comes in, then they'll add more mulch. We put all we had left on it.
Okay.
It wasn't enough.
I kind of figured as much, but it was like just kind of following up on it. Thanks. And then my other concern was actually already taken care of. I think for the most part, there were concerns of a resident that backed up into Northgate, and you already addressed, I think, the issues concerning the planting the trees, possibly at the water. Zach, on that about soaking up the area that the house I talked about where the water was backed up on the park. So I think you talked about the trees. And Maddie, you talked to me about the change in the angle of where the frisbee golf wouldn't be going to the people's backyards.
I think
So
we
they-
made
That one.
that part of the
Okay.
citizens advisory
Yeah, okay, the
minutes.
North Gate, I'm sorry. Okay, I do have answers for you on
Okay.
that one.
Okay, sorry.
For some reason, I was thinking Southgate, and I didn't know.
Yeah, I had to think what direction I was talking about.
It's
Yeah,
Southgate.
Southgate.
Southgate. Yeah, Southgate. Sorry.
That's why I
Southgate.
couldn't.
That's right. What direction? Coming back mid-direction.
All right, so, she had 3 concerns. The disc golf, course will come to the board. We were hoping for September. We have not gotten their layout yet, so that's got pushed back till probably October.
I think our concern was just making sure the frisbees didn't end up in our backyard,
Right,
basically.
right.
So.
So they will come and present it, once we get that, from them. And then the trees in the along the walking path, we got an estimate from Baker Tree Service. They went out and surveyed it. There are a lot of
Invasive
species. There's a lot of dead trees. There's a lot of area that needs to be cleared. So we did get an estimate on that. We'll probably bring that to the board in the near future. And then their backyard, there is no stormwater easement back towards her property. So what we've talked about doing is, the stormwater easement ends way before her property. So as far as the stormwater management, there's really nothing that the town can do. But what we're thinking about doing is doing future tree plantings during the next Arbor Day celebration, because that is part of the park there.
Okay.
We would prefer that staff plants on town property as opposed to
Private.
residents.
Got it.
So
Totally
we
makes
are
sense.
looking at that, and I think I put a response to her, but I will
Okay.
double check if I have not. I think I did. I think I sent a response to Commissioner Ritz, and I think you were gonna pass that along? Yes.
Okay. If you could just send it CC to me,
Yep,
just
I
to get a
will.
chance. Thanks. And I think that was it. Just the invasive species thing. I've worked in the park system for the last 5 summers. That's a constant battle that's being fought every summer. Basically, it's like just the amount of man hours it takes, basically clearing trails of invasive species, is unreal. So just it's going to be an ongoing problem for years to come.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it. I got the brain. Summer Hill. Yes, that's it. Okay. Thanks, Mr. President.
Thank you. I don't have any comments at this time. We'll move on to town planners report.
This is the town planners report for June 2019. I'm also going to highlight some key areas. Created the proposed firewood policy, which will come to you guys in a few months. Fielded multiple questions on the proposed sign ordinance, processed bid documents for the Forestry Stand 5 select logging, and the cross-connection approved contractor bids. For grants, processed and submitted the fiscal year 2020 Community Legacy Facade Restoration Grant in the amount of $75,000. We'll most likely get $50,000 like we usually do. Processed the final reimbursement request for over $34,000 from the fiscal year 2017 Community Legacy Square Sidewalk Revitalization Grant. Processed 2 facade grant reimbursements. Submitted the 2017 Community Legacy Facade Grant final report. Finalized the kiosk panel replacement project. I wrote a newsletter article on the 2020 Facade Community Legacy Program. Applied for a $5,000 grant from the Chesapeake Bay Trust in order to start a rain barrel program. We did put out flyers, and thank you, Ms. Buckman, for putting that on the website.
Excited.
Appreciate that. For MS4, started working on the 2018-19 yearly town MS4 program report, which is a huge undertaking. Attended an all-day Maryland Association of Floodplain and Stormwater Managers Conference. Assisted GPI with researching information for the baseline impervious assessment project. We held storm drain marking volunteer events with Gonzaga College High School students on 6/24 and 6/27, which resulted in 100 storm drains being marked at Northgate, Brookfield, Lincoln on the Park, and Seton Shrine. They were all really nice kids. For permits and zoning, processed and approved multiple permits: 1 addition, renovation, a roof, shed, patio, 2 decks, 1 high hazard cross connection, and 2 no permit needed from Frederick County forms. For miscellaneous, one thing Kathy and the mayor and I wanted to highlight on my report is I reviewed the chicken ordinance, which is in section 6420B. This ordinance had a sunset provision and expired in January 1st, 2015. Therefore, the town does not currently have rules for chicken coops. So if you guys would like, we can review it if you're interested. If not, that's okay too. It's just expired.
You're talking about the ordinances we have to have 4 hens or whatever?
Yes, it's expired. It had a sunset provision, which I was shocked when I saw that.
Yeah.
So it's up to you, the board. And I also worked with the sewer and water superintendent in order to provide a triennial updates to the Frederick County Sewer and Water Plan, and that's the main portions of my report.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes, Commissioner O'Donnell.
Just related to the chicken ordinance, I would like to see it come back to the board for consideration and discussion. If I recall correctly, and I think some of us were here at the time when we put this through, I don't know that we would say we were piloting this ordinance, but we were kind of dipping our toe in the proverbial chicken pool to find out how it would go for the community. And there was a reasonable response to it, but I'm sure it's worth another look. So my suggestion would be if we could bring it back, that would be good.
I have a question too after you're finished.
Yes, sir.
Are you done?
I am done, sir.
Since it's no longer viable, they can have whatever they want?
That's my understanding, yes.
Okay.
They can do
I
whatever.
think we do have some roosters in town. I've heard them.
Limited by the county, though. Limited by the county.
Right, the county ordinance.
So
is
I
gonna-
don't know how we would
yeah.
do that. When, if we rewrite it,
There's an
should we make them
ordinance
get
that
rid of
says-
their roosters if they already have them?
No, no.
We don't have a limit on the roosters and we don't have a limit on the chickens right now. Is that correct?
I think county ordinances would dictate no roosters in town, just like the Frederick County ordinance. But we were allowing, in-town coops as our town ordinance. It's still, isn't it, Kathy?
I'm looking it up,
Just looking it up.
because I can't recall off the top of my head.
Municipality, we have our own.
Yeah, it's dogs. We'll have to look into it as far as what's specific now that we can and cannot have.
Sure.
And then we'll, with the board's direction, if you want it brought back, we'd be looking at probably October.
Definitely, especially since I have a
We
chicken
wanted to
coop in
add
my
this
yard.
too. Right, I wanted to add that too.
Any other questions for the town planner? Mr. Ritz?
Really?
Yes, one question regarding the cross-connection control. My understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, some letters came out reminding, I think, the high, what's the term again? The high level. High hazard, so the businesses. Letters to get that taken care of. They do have 5 years, though, correct?
The low hazard, they have 5 years.
Okay,
The high hazard has 90 days from past
90
ordinance.
days, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I actually did see the state mandated regulations on that. Everything just gets so expensive, doesn't it, for residents and business owners?
Well, we've tried to eliminate as much cost as we can. With low hazard has no fees associated. They don't have to apply for a permit, and they don't have to reapply for 10 years. So,
Mr. Blanchard?
A couple things. Again, obviously, we've already talked about National Night Out tomorrow. Hopefully, the weather cooperates. Knock on wood. We'll all be good. Other events coming up that weren't on the calendar itself. Looks like we got we have the pool party. I do believe August 16th coming up. That'll always be fun. The last two have been well attended. Appreciate the mayor's help and everybody else helping out with that. See, this Saturday, I did see Pastor John's in the audience. August 10th, this Saturday, is the back to school. The school supplies, etc. They'll be out. Encourage people to come out for that. And that's what, 12 to 3, I do believe. 12 to 3. And let's see. Attended the concert in the park. With Joe Ritz organizing that last Friday. That was an enjoyable event. I do believe, Mr. Ritz, we have one more concert in the park, or this month, right? And
Well, yeah, I was going to get to that, but thanks for bringing that up. I apologize for interrupting there, but yes, there is one this month, and we have potentially a second in October, postponed from the 500-degree weather we had the other week.
yeah, really.
So,
Cool. Enjoyable. That was a lot of fun. And see, there's one more thing. Oh yeah, if I understand this correct, Commissioner Buckman, you had posted. I do believe the Palms has been nominated for best breakfast in Frederick County.
A lot of businesses in Emmitsburg have been nominated. The Palms, the Tattoo Parlor, the Carriage House, the fire department. I mean, there's a slew of them.
Okay.
I encourage everyone to vote. That's through the Frederick News Post, right? The nominations?
Or
Correct.
is it Frederick Magazine?
It is.
Or is it
I think it's Frederick Magazine.
Oh, I think you can go through the post as well.
It's both?
Yeah.
A rising tide lifts all boats.
Okay,
Yes.
well,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put
there
you
we
on the
go.
hot seat.
Keep you out the vote on this.
Sorry.
I think that's it. Let me see. Concert, pool.
Do you have anything for the planner?
No, I'm good.
Okay. I don't have anything either. Thank you.
Are we doing commissioner comments
now
now?
we're doing
Sorry, I
Commissioner
kinda
comments. That's
skipped.
okay.
My fault. I just thought you were.
We have one left.
Never mind. My fault.
Commissioner O'Donnell.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate the
Thanks,
kickstart. I enjoyed the concert in the park. Mr. Ritz, having done that job before and having never had that level of success, my hat's off to you. Very well done.
Thank you.
A good band, great numbers, and it was evident that success, people were social media-ing because the numbers increased as the night progressed. So, again, very well done. I briskly attended the pool party on the 12th. Again, Mr. Mayor, well done. That was a phenomenal turnout you all had there. It seems the use of community park and our facilities are really serving our community well. It seems there are more people using the park. It's good to see. Hopefully, we're enhancing the quality of life for our community, which has always been a priority for us. To the staff, the parks look great. It seems everything's pretty rock solid there. I saw the riprap today, the completion there. Not only was the riprap in place, it seems solidly done, but also it seemed there was minimum effect to the dam and the transit across the dam. So that's always a good thing to see. A responsible contractor was hired, it appears. The bridge postponement, that's unsettling for two reasons. Number one, because it seemed we were so eager to see it mid-August delivered. The other part was I had hoped maybe we, the board, would have heard sooner, only that it came out through our newsletter, and I had people contact me, and I felt a little bit flat-footed when I couldn't provide them the current information. So please keep us in mind when that goes out. I did see the email with the newsletter, but people got on it right away. So help with that would be appreciated. The property owner who contacted all of us collectively, I had a chance to talk with her ever so briefly today. She is hoping to see the layout of the disc golf course. I think it's important that we enter that into the record. She wants to see it, or her household does. I don't want to speak for her, but this is what I believe was communicated. She's not trying to extend her property line related to tree planting nor the water issue, but she's hoping for a response to that. It sounds like we have a really good response for that. And I believe the other part was the trail maintenance in Community Park, removing the vines. That was a priority of hers also, just kind of extending that for the trees. She had noticed there were some flags in the park or trees being marked. Is that related to the Baker folks?
Yes.
Looking at the trees? Terrific. Okay. And my I won't say my concern, but throwing in my 2 cents for what it's worth. Sight lines are really important on a trail, so that way you don't have user conflict, and also someone feels safe in that area. So if there's trimming that's setting stuff back, that would be appreciated also.
That's what they're
And I'm
doing.
sure they're going to do that, so for what it's worth. And that's it for myself. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Ritz?
Commissioner Blanchard already touched on some of these, but I'll go ahead and reiterate. Tomorrow is National Night Out. Hope to see everyone there. And Saturday is the back-to-school event hosted by Christ Community Church. I believe this is the 7th annual one, so thank you to Pastor John Talcott for hosting that. That is from noon to 3. The next Park and Recs Committee meeting is Tuesday the 20th at 7:30. Just a reminder for that. Commissioner O'Donnell brought it up, but thank you to Quasi Flannel and their music on the 2nd. It was fantastic. Thanks to everyone who came out to listen, including Commissioner Blanchard and his daughter Grace, Commissioner O'Donnell and his dog, former Commissioner Malore and her husband Bob and their dogs, current candidate Frank Davis, and Miss Terry Ray and her son Luke. Special thanks to Commissioner Buckman, Miss Diane Walbrecker, and the one gentleman whose name escapes me at this moment, but for their awesome dance moves. And last but not least, to my beautiful wife Jamie and wonderful sons Garrett, Edwin, and Davis for coming to enjoy the tunes in the playground. We do have another concert on the 30th of this month, Christine and the Road King, featuring clean comedy and Americana. That's their shtick. So I've never heard them, so I'm interested to see what that is. And we are negotiating 5.5 Men for sometime in October. Details will follow.
And they were originally booked, but the heat was too
It
hot.
was too hot that day. I mean,
Men comes to the Emmitsburg Carnival, and
Yes.
they're wonderful.
yes. And I graduated high school with the lead singer and rhythm guitarist. So
Okay.
that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say
Mr. Brookman?
the stairs up in the square that I didn't see one night are so nicely marked now. That was quick response, so thank you guys for
We are,
that.
and just to add a note to that, State Highway is working on putting handrails up as well.
Oh, I don't need those yet, but
We're waiting on, we're anxiously waiting on those,
Okay.
so.
that's a
just
good idea.
To add a little bit more safety.
That's good. That's good. And I noticed that somebody, is it Libby, is weeding those boxes in the square. They look fantastic. The ones that are close to the buildings aren't, and I'm going to go tackle that if it's okay, because they're not being, I guess, weeded. But I'm
It's-
doing it.
Yeah,
I-
it's supposed to
I
be
live
the
right there.
State Highways landscaper that comes back, and unfortunately,
They're
they're
not
not.
touching
They
those
don't
ones.
come. They come back, but they don't come back as often as we need them. So any volunteer help would be greatly appreciated.
Not just me, but anyone who wants
Right.
to. Yeah, good. And then I was approached by a couple of businesses, and I think in the long past before Mayor Briggs was mayor, because he's bridging the gap between the community and the town office very nicely, still have a little bit of residue from feeling kind of intimidated. And they love Amy, but every time she's out with a camera, they start to get heart palpitations. And they have asked that if she's going to go out and take pictures, if an email could go out to the businesses saying, you know, the purpose of those pictures. That would be really appreciated. They don't want you to stop, but if they just knew why, because they get a little bit anxious.
We can do our best. There's
Yeah.
not always time to send an email out.
Right.
If it's, and for the last example, it was for the business's benefit. It was to take pictures of all the signage, so if and when this sign ordinance is passed, they're all grandfathered in. And 10, 15 years from now, when we're not here, if we're not
that's
here,
good.
that's why.
If the principal, even I'm 15 years old and I'm a teacher, the principal calls me to their office, my heart beats. It
We
could
can
be a
we'll do our
compliment.
best.
It could be.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
What'd you do, Commissioner?
Nothing. I was so afraid I didn't do anything wrong. That's all.
Thank you. Commissioner Blanchard, you have anything?
Just
else?
one last thing, I forgot. Sorry about that. Pool attendance looks like it's been up. Talking to Amy about that. I had a chance to go to the pool over the weekend. Really enjoyable. Seems like everything's really well maintained. So compliments to town staff and the RSVP company, basically keeping everything up. And Zach, I appreciate your response back. I contacted you last week about the view of 140. When you look up, just anything SHA could do as far as like tree trimming is concerned, looking both ways. The bridge, when it comes around the corner, it seems like you don't see cars until like the last second before they're coming down, zooming that way, and then come the other way around the corner. It's like that one tree. So anything they could possibly do to get a little more line of sight based on that one exit, trim the trees back, would be really appreciated. So,
Amy has a really good contact over SHA, and they're
Okay.
really receptive. So
and sometimes during the summertime, trees just have a tendency to kind of take off. And right now, it's like both ways. It's like, hey.
absolutely.
So,
Yep.
thanks.
Mr.
All right.
Sweeney?
Yes, Commissioner
Sorry,
O'Donnell.
Staff, another thank you. I'm sorry. They painted the lines at the bridge.
Yes.
And at night, that is so much of a help, especially during bad weather. So I appreciate you carrying that message forward to them because I've been dazzled by the lights at night, and I know others have. So thank you for getting that to them.
Welcome. That's true.
Okay, thank you. I do have a couple things. The pool has been run really good this year. I think the staff that they have there has been good staff this year.
Yeah.
I've been there a good bit, at least 27, 28 days out of this year I was there. The concession stand's doing really well at the pool. The Lions Club thanks the town for letting them use the concession stand. We are on track to making $1,000, $1,200 profit for towards the Heritage Day and the fireworks that we have in town. So hopefully
That's
everything will
super.
be good for that.
Thank
The
you for
park-
your time that you've put in running it.
Yeah, this is a lot.
Yeah.
My wife thinks so too.
Yeah.
Thanks to my wife for helping me.
Yeah, you're both up there.
The bridge is getting done. I know they were shooting for August. The bridge looks like it's going to be done by August, like we think. But I know they got to put storm drain up both ways.
Right.
The new storm drains to tie into the creek and the sidewalks, and that's probably going to be to December.
And the manhole that we mentioned back during the sewer relining, staff is going to get that done before they go out and pave,
Yeah.
so that we can get it done in conjunction with it and don't have to tear up new pavement. So we're working with them on the schedule for that. And they do have new sidewalks that are gonna go in from the bridge to Silo Hill, or to the intersection there, that they will be installing as well, so.
That's great. The pool also, when the pool closes there, we're going to do getting a new pool house.
I
Rehab.
have that, bringing that to you tonight.
That'll be good to have too. The new pool house will be there. That way the pool will be all completely rehabbed. Correct?
Right,
That help.
and we can move on to something else.
Oh, I mean, we're going to something else. I had a lot of feedback from the town for this year. Everything's been kept up pretty well, except for the Silo Hill Park.
Right.
Everybody's been. I heard good things about staff keeping up on everything. I haven't heard anything too bad coming back from hardly anybody this year so far. Rather tonight we will, I don't know. Tonight's a new night. But everything's been going pretty well. If anybody has any complaints or anything, just go to town staff. That's what they're here for. So if you have anything that you want to complain about, don't be afraid to come. They're here for that. I don't have anything else for first comment. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner Sweeney. Yes, thank you to Sheriff Jenkins. We wrote him a letter last summer. We've had 2 national nights out, but they were the small ones. It was
This is a
National
big one.
Night Out Light, and so we asked if we could have the big high test one, and that's tomorrow night, and we can expect probably 200 to maybe 300 people here in town. That should be a wonderful thing, and we thank him. Sorry about my allergies, excuse me. With the LED program, we've just finished with it complements our LED lights with the street lights and our solar energy. I'm planning on attending the ribbon cutting I've been invited to ribbon cutting for the county's new solar fields down at their Reichsford Road. What do you call it? We used to call it the dump, but they shouldn't call that now. But when that happens, this building will go on solar. So we, as the county executive said the other night, we are almost 100% the town of Emmitsburg on renewable energy, and we're the first. We're leading the cause. We have ours has been in for 6 years. Let's see. William Cochran glass etching should start. They've already taken down the old tree out there in front. I was over at the Fire Museum welcoming in a class from all over the country of firemen just before this meeting, and that should be something very special. If you don't know William Cochran, he's the one that did the bridges down in Frederick, painted that bridge. He also did the etchings on the side of buildings that for inspirational things down there. So having that up here is a draw, and it complements our museums we have. We have 2 museums here. We have, I think, 3 archives here. This is the other side. We talk about infrastructures in the town. This is one that's very subtly being built up here in our town right now, is the museums and the Cochrane thing. And later tonight, I'm going to propose that we have a poet laureate, and just to take that, because we have the very first public library in Frederick County was here in Emmitsburg. So a lot of things that complements that and complements what's going on at the Mount. the EBPA will be bringing the Reagan Years, another band here in September, which is another draw. That brings, that's a big area draw, and that'll be doing things like that. That's just a lot of things. Congratulations to all the commissioners. They're all pitching in, doing wonderful things. And Mr. Ritz, specifically this last one year, I did not get there, but had another commitment. But your concert in the park are really special. I did go to the one before. I didn't go to the 500-degree one or whatever.
No one
I
did.
stayed away from that one. But I made a presentation for Envision Frederick. It was at a luncheon on July 20th, along with Congressman Jamie Raskin and Frederick County Subdistrict 3B Delegate Ken Kerr. That's part of my responsibility to get out there and write articles and teach classes and do things all in the name of Emmitsburg. Also, on July 24th, Maryland Smart Growth, Smart Growth Maryland, Preservation Maryland at the Del Plains Center. I made a presentation on making sustainability a reality in your community, and that was terrific. That's a very special thing. So many things going on here, and wonderful things, and we have to look at that. We can't get embroiled in what's going wrong here. We're working on that, but there's so many wonderful things happening in this community, and we have to do that. It brings people here and our tourists and everything like that. I think that's it, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Any other comments? Before maybe we move on to public comment?
No, sir.
Excuse me. Gosh.
Okay. Public comments. Tammy May. Sidewalk issue.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners.
Good evening.
I purchased a house at 101 DePaul Street in April of 2002. There was a pretty big tree in the front of the house, mostly in the sidewalk. Some it protruded out to the street also. I contacted the town after living there for a while, not sure how long, asked if the tree was considered my tree or the town's tree. I was told that I was the owner of the tree. After this conversation, not sure how long DePaul Street was scheduled to be repaved. I come home from work one day, the tree had a ribbon tied around it, and I come home the following day, the tree was gone. I was never notified the tree was being removed. I called the town office to notify them of the condition of the sidewalk after the tree removal. There was a hole remaining and the sidewalk was broken. I was told by the town they would send someone out to fix it. So when I got home, the fix was simply pouring blacktop into the hole, and they did nothing with the broken pieces of the sidewalk. As the years have passed, I'm assuming the tree roots under the ground have been rotting and have sunk, so the blacktop that was poured into the hole that the tree left has sunk. Either that, thawing and freezing also probably contributed to it. But they never did anything about the chipped part of the sidewalk. I inquired with the town again when Main Street sidewalks were being replaced and understand that was grant and they couldn't help me as I did not live on Main Street. I received a certified letter from the town on July 25th stating I had 20 days to fix the damaged sidewalk or be fined and possibly go to court. I totally understand that normal sidewalk deterioration is the homeowner's responsibility. However, my sidewalk was damaged by town workers or whoever the town had removed the tree, and I don't feel I should be held financially responsible for this repair. And Commissioner Blanchard, you may remember that tree, I'm not sure.
Yeah, back in the years, I remember that.
Yeah.
Staff?
Obviously,
I have
this-
pictures also.
Yes, we did send her the letter. The sidewalk is in very bad condition. It's hazardous. Obviously, this happened, the tree being ripped out, the sidewalk damage happened long before I ever started working here, before the mayor was elected. Any of us were here, so we were unaware of it. When we got her response last week, our Director of Public Works was on vacation. So I was waiting for him to return to see what kind of information he could provide. She was told that her deadline, she had 45 days to do it. So her deadline would be extended in lieu of us trying to figure out what was happening.
I did
If it
not
is
get
the
told
town,
that, ma'am. I did not get told that.
Yeah, no, talk to me instead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did
That's
not
okay.
get told that.
regardless, so she has 45 days. We were waiting for Mr. Click to return to the office so we could sit down, have a meeting. We actually have a meeting scheduled Wednesday to go over if he recalls anything, if there's anything that, because we don't know. You know, it happened so long ago.
Can we see the pictures?
Yes, I have
We
pictures
have
from when the
pictures.
tree
We
was
do have 'em.
there, when the tree was removed.
Pictures of that pole? Never provided us that.
So this is the tree?
Does this,
We've never seen anything from back then, from whenever this first occurred.
Yeah, this is dated too.
Okay, well,
does,
If the
do you
ch-
have
if-
them now?
Oh,
if
yeah,
town
let's
staff
see.
could be provided that, that would be great, very helpful.
May, can you give them to the town staff now? Those
Here's the
pictures?
blacktop. Is this-
copy of them. I didn't make a copy, I'm sorry.
Can you guys make a copy of them tonight?
During the meeting.
She should be able
After
to
the
do that
meeting.
for
That's
you.
where the
Yeah.
blacktop was poured in and the crack was left.
Okay.
Do you want to see him?
After me, since they weren't here and they don't know,
That's what it looks like
Yeah,
now.
I know.
since they weren't here, I imagine there was also a tree taken out on DePaul Street right on the corner where the intersection was. In front of the Rodner's house.
He scares me.
That was also in the sidewalk at one point. But I don't know who, I mean, that's been a while back too. I do remember a tree being in the sidewalk there, but I don't know where your tree was in the sidewalk, because you're further down.
I'm right on the corner of St. Joseph, beside the apartment building.
Oh, you're beside the apartment
Not the
building,
Section 8 one, the other one.
across the street.
Yes, the
Beside-
stone house,
Oh,
Not the brick, yeah.
brick house?
the stone, yeah.
You'll see the picture of it.
Yeah,
right there.
you'll see that.
Mr. Sweeney, may I ask staff a question?
Yes.
Thank you. Do we have a color scanner or a color photocopier so we could get a copy to you guys? That way you don't lose the copies. Is that something that's available to us?
Of her older picture?
Of what she has here currently?
We have the current picture in color. Obviously what she had in 2002 or 4, whenever that
Don't mess up the order.
happened.
Miss-
We don't have those pictures.
Sure.
There's
Oh,
no
what
historical
I'm saying is,
records of it.
do we have access to a color scanner or a color copier so we could copy these, so you would have these on file, just to have them?
I do remember.
Okay,
that
yeah,
too.
she's saying that it would work.
Okay, great.
I don't know if it'll scan it.
I didn't know who took it down, but I do remember the tree, because I live at the end of St. Joseph Lane.
Yeah, I didn't take it down, but.
Is there a time you'd be able to come in to bring these to staff so they could copy them, so you could get them right back from them?
Sure, I can even copy them and just drop off copies if you.
Great,
that
okay.
would- That would work.
I think
just
that'd be
didn't have
helpful
time
just to
do
have it.
Today. So who do I drop them off with?
You can drop them off to just the front desk.
Okay.
So what happens next?
We have a meeting scheduled for Wednesday with
Wednesday.
staff to review it and then figure out next course of action.
Okay.
Okay.
And
These go back to you.
I'd be interested to know.
It looks like the tree is in the road, not in the sidewalk.
It's both, and the actual road has a dip in it too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the tree being there now, since I know which house you live in. Just bring the
Typically,
stuff
your
in.
homeowner's responsible for all sidewalk repairs. However, if it was something that was caused by staff, then that's something that we need to look into and discuss. And then,
Thank you,
you know,
Kathy.
we'll get a hold of Miss May, and then we'll go from there. But the timeline was, and I apologize if you weren't notified, because I was told you were, that your deadline was extended because we had a delay on the staff level. So you did have 45 days. So we'll have an answer for you very shortly.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
Lutz.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for coming in.
Thank you for
Yes,
coming
ma'am.
in.
Thank you.
Mrs. May, can you bring that stuff into them before they have their meeting on Wednesday?
Yeah, I'll bring it in tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, more public comment?
Yes, Ken Casimirs? Just here to observe? Okay.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you for coming.
Jonathan Switzer?
He will actually be with your proclamation for correct? You're with the National
Right.
Recovery Month proclamation?
Do you want to speak then, when we kind of have it come up
That's
here?
fun. We just couldn't find it on the agenda, his name, so.
Uh-huh. And Amy Boham?
Is his last name? Okay.
Hi, I'm Amy Bowman Pollitt. I'm the one that caused a lot of your agenda tonight. So thank you for being receptive to my email. I have
Reaching out to us.
Well, I appreciate it because I've moved around a lot in Frederick County, and I have to say Emmitsburg really does hear their people. So thank you for that. Thank you also for the idea of maybe planting some trees around Arbor Day. I think that's a great idea, and I thank you for that. My husband wanted to go rogue, and he's like, they won't notice if we plant a willow. I'm like, I am a teacher and a rule follower. We're not going to do that. So I didn't want you to think we're just going to start, being the Lorax and planting seeds everywhere. But I think that would really help preserve the trees that are back there now, acting as that natural boundary line for us, and the park as well. I know talking to the Public Works gentleman before, he's like, they like having that there to make that natural boundary. When the time comes, is it possible for us to partner with you to show you like exactly where that area might be before the trees might go in, if possible?
You could join us in the celebration on Arbor's Day.
I will do that. I'll help with the shovel.
We do. The whole community's invited.
Perfect. I'll be there. Also,
Planning.
sorry.
And the planning.
And the plan. I
And
mean,
the
it
planning.
sounds like you want to be part of the planning preceding the event so you can cite the tree.
Yes.
So
Well,
that's
What we
important.
do is we work with DNR, Becky Wilson, is that correct?
Sounds right.
And we give her the locations, and she reviews them and helps us develop recommendations of where these plants will be best suited. So when that time comes, we'll certainly make sure you're notified.
Sure.
Yeah,
Thank
'cause
you.
If the area is not saturated, when the person comes to look, they may not see where the
Right.
pools occur.
And I don't know if it would help if I took pictures and video after it rains to show you how it pools there, or if that's just a moot point. Either way, just let me know. Disc golf, thank you for considering letting us look at the holes ahead of time. The question now, after you discussed it, would be, will Southgate, or maybe just me, have a chance to see it before it's presented and voted on? Does it get presented and voted on the same night, or?
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
It can be. Typically, I don't like to release things until the board has had a chance to review it out of fairness to the board. So we will make sure that you're personally invited to the meeting. The packets go out on Thursdays prior to the meeting, and the map may be in there if we can fit it. If not, it gets presented at the night. But we'll certainly make sure that you're included in that, so you
Sure.
get a chance to look at it. And
Sure.
obviously, you're welcome to come to the meeting and make any comment necessary.
Sure, I will be attending a lot of meetings for these three things. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Having a 7-year-old son in a property without a fence, I'm always considering safety. So thank you for that. Also, I know the vines you've already talked about, and I feel like the Lorax up here. But if there ever is an effort to help remove those vines and you need help, you obviously now know where I live. I sent you a map of my house. But I will find lots of people to help. I would be more than happy to volunteer and help. I know it's a huge task. It probably takes a lot of hours and money. But if you are looking for volunteers to help, I would be more than happy to offer my services.
They're planning on doing some kind of plantation back here too, of like a botanical garden, sort of like. Is that correct? In the future,
That's
not right now, but.
right. That will be based off of the stormwater recommendations on the projects that we need to complete for MS4, but there's potential ideas for back there, yes.
Yeah, they will need help for that too, for the planting.
Perfect. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in.
That's all I have for public comment. Except for Mr. Schweitzer when he comes up for speaking. That's when it comes. Administrative business. Number 1, proclamation nominating a poet laureate for the town to consider.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you very much. A proclamation declaring Francis Smith, Town of Emmitsburg Poet Laureate. Whereas the Town of Emmitsburg wishes to encourage reflection upon the richness and diversity of the peoples, location, traditions of the Town of Emmitsburg, and whereas on August 5th, 2019, the Board of Commissioners established a 2-year honorary position of Poet Laureate of Emmitsburg, Maryland, and whereas the Poet Laureate of the Town of Emmitsburg encourages the reading, writing, sharing, and celebration of poetry, and whereas Francis Smith has been selected by the Board of Commissioners and Mayor as the Town of Emmitsburg Poet Laureate for a 2-year term. And whereas Francis and his family are long-time Emmitsburg area residents, in addition to many other roles, Francis has taught English and Latin for 40 years at local high schools before retiring. And whereas Francis is an accomplished poet with several publications, is active at the Emmitsburg Library, and writes poems monthly for a local paper. And whereas Francis is passionate about inspiring the town of Emmitsburg to engage in poetry, now therefore be it proclaimed that the mayor and board of the commissioners of the town of Emmitsburg, Maryland, do hereby declare Francis Smith as the honorary town of Emmitsburg Poet Laureate, adopted this the 5th day of August 2019. This should be approved by you all.
I'll make a motion to appoint Mr. Francis Smith as Poet Laureate of Emmitsburg effective August 5th, 2019.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Ritz, second by Commissioner O'Donnell. Is there any other discussion on the matter? All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Proclamation carries.
If you may I bring him up for a picture
Please.
with us all? Thank you.
I would love that.
Francis?
I think this is a wonderful idea.
Oh, I couldn't do that.
Latin poetry.
I want you to come around here.
You want to sit here? I mean, we just sit.
Come over here, we're gonna take a picture. Maddie, can you take a picture of us real quick? Can we all get together somewhere?
We can all come forward.
Oh, why don't you stay where we're at, that way they're in front.
I like it.
We'll stay back here, we'll stay behind you. No, you go up front, that way it evens it out.
We're gonna get you a proclamation.
Right, let's go down a little bit, that way.
Do you want to stand in the middle?
No, I just
You
want
want
to
to stand in the middle?
No, I think we're going to go down a little bit.
We're balanced.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
And he'll be writing a poem monthly course of dissemination.
Terrific.
I will. Surprise.
The mayor will be covering the fee.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's awesome. 91.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, huh?
Okay, look, you'll go ahead. Thank you very much.
Everything at once.
Number 2 on agenda.
I don't know if
For administration agenda was a proclamation making August 6, 2019 National Night Out in
that's
Emmitsburg
funny.
for consideration.
All right. I have the proclamation. I also have some information that Ms. Shaw and Ms. Nail have been working on this event for months, just dedicated a lot of time to it. So we'll have a map kind of showing where everything is, and I'm just going to go over some information she wanted to relay. As everyone knows, tomorrow, Tuesday, August 6th, the town will be partnering with Frederick County Sheriff's Office to host National Night Out in the Community Park. For those that are not aware, National Night Out is an annual community crime prevention event held on the first Tuesday in August in 16,000 communities across the United States. Communities host block parties, festivals, parades, cookouts, safety demonstrations, and seminars, all with the goal of creating positive police-community relationships to make neighborhoods safer places to live. This is Frederick County's National Night Out. It's the premier location for the Sheriff's Office this year. Although we've hosted it since August of 2017, this year's event will be much larger because, as I said, the Sheriff's Office has decided to host their countywide event in Emmitsburg thanks to the mayor's efforts.
Nice job.
The event takes place, as I said, tomorrow from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. The event is free, so please come. It will feature police canine demonstrations, SWAT demonstrations, complimentary hot dogs and ice cream, music, free face painting, pony rides, a petting zoo, as well as 25-plus vendors, fire trucks, ambulances, police vehicles, and much, much more. We invite all families to come and enjoy the evening. This is a map of where everything's going to be located, if you can see it. Canine demonstrations, there's not a set time for them. They will do them when the time permits, based off of what's happening throughout the event. They will be held in the ball fields. I don't have my glasses on. The petting zoo will be along Community Park Drive in the field, that field parking. There will be all parking available in the lot behind the office, in the field behind the town office, as well as the school. I believe the sheriff's office explorers will be directing all traffic. There will be pony rides in the area of the tennis courts, pedestrian walkway up and down Community Park. I can't read it. I forgot my glasses. I apologize. The hot dogs and all the food will be served in the pavilion, up in the upper parking lot, or there's the vendors will be next to the pavilion. Police vehicles will be parked along the tennis courts. You'll have ambulance and fire truck in the upper area, as well as more vendors.
Ice cream
Ice cream. Where's the ice cream truck, Maddie?
over by the
There
pool.
you go. There you go. There it is.
Okay, you got the DJ and the moon bounce. The DJ will be in the bandstand. You'll have a moon bounce. Okay. Anybody else want to point anything else out that I can't
I'm
see?
just glad you had a map because I was going to come right behind this building again.
Yeah.
I would have messed
Please,
that up.
one thing to note is that the sheriff's office will be closing Community Drive and the dog park for everyone. People and their dogs will not be allowed to go to the dog park beginning at 3 p.m. To improve event safety. So everything along Community Park Drive, vehicular traffic will be closed. Again, free parking will be available in the field parking lot behind the Emmitsburg Community Center and at the Emmitsburg Elementary School.
I have a question. Community Park Drive, is that Willow Drive that's on there?
That's the one that runs from Cedar up to Lincoln.
Oh, because it's labeled Willow Drive.
Community drives the loop that goes around the school.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, the loop around the school.
So there'll be barricades. You will not be able to drive back towards the baseball fields either. They will have it blocked off.
I gotcha.
To improve public safety during the entire event. And then, somebody want to read the proclamation, or I can? The proclamation for National Night Out?
Mr. Mayor, you want to read that?
Okay, you guys are working me hard tonight.
We're working you hard.
All right, proclamation, National Night Out, Tuesday, August 6, 2019, Community Park, 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Whereas the National Association of Town Watch, NATW, sponsors a National Community Building Campaign on the first Tuesday of August each year entitled National Night Out, and whereas National Night Out has been an annual event in the town of Emmitsburg for the past 3 years, and whereas the National Night Out event provides an opportunity for neighbors in the town of Emmitsburg to join over 38 million people in over 16,000 communities from all 50 states, U.S. territories, Canadian cities, and military bases worldwide. And whereas the National Night Out is an annual community building campaign that promotes police community partnerships and neighborhood camaraderie to make our neighborhoods safer, more caring places to live. And whereas it is essential that all neighbors of the town of Emmitsburg come together with the police and work together to build a safer and more caring community. Now, therefore, be proclaimed that the mayor and council of the town of Emmitsburg, Maryland, do hereby proclaim Tuesday, August 6, 2019, National Night Out in Emmitsburg, and do hereby call upon all citizens, neighbors, and community agencies, businesses to join the Frederick Community Sheriff's Office and National Association of Town Watch in support for the National Night Out in our community park, adopted the 5th day of August 2019. We'll need action on that, sir.
I need a motion to accept the proclamation.
I'll make a motion to accept the proclamation for National Night Out, Tuesday, August 6th at Community Park.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Buckman. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Second by Commissioner Blanchard. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Motion carries.
Very good. Thank you, Jim.
You are
Thank you.
welcome.
I forgot to mention, Francis will be 94 in 2 weeks, our poet laureate. I forgot to mention that.
Oh,
He looks good for 94. Super.
okay. Item number 3 for administrative business is adoption of a proclamation designating September as Recovery Month in Emmitsburg, Maryland. And we have one speaker for that, and that's
Mr.
Jonathan
Schweitzer.
Switzer.
Switzer.
Good evening, Council. You have in front of you a postcard and a wristband. I'm here on behalf of Ed and Karen Schilt, who were unable to be here tonight. Apparently, they're on vacation.
They need
And
one.
they are doing amazing work in this entire North County area to help to move forward. The Frederick County Goes Purple, and so I'm very grateful, not just for that, but for the work that they do just with the Thurmont Area Addiction Council that has been so important. I would rather not be here tonight. We all know the statistics that continue to be just intractable here, not just in our county, but across the nation. And so the question that I was living in with many of those that we work with down at the Prodigal Son House and Frederick Rescue Mission was, is there a next level response that could be helpful for a county, for any region, in lieu of the amazing things that are already being done by those that are at the point of the spear, not to mention the Sheriff's Department and all those. Ms. Buckman earlier was sharing just ways that she finds to help people to get into recovery. What's the next level response? There's 6 other counties across the nation, across the state that have gone purple. So we'll be the 7th, but we'll be the largest that has done it. So we're working diligently with each of the municipalities to ask them to make a proclamation. What we're asking is that you would invite the whole town to go purple for the month. We have purple light bulbs that have been that are in stock at Shepherd Electric, and they have 2,000 of these in stock, and they are LED. We got them for $1 less than the other county got them for. It's still $5 a piece, though.
Where is Shepherd Electric?
Light bulb. Shepherd Electric is down in the city of Frederick, but they'll. If you go onto the website that's listed, you can get all of those. We also have posters that people could put up, and so the encouragement is to put like streamers or bows on the streets. It sounds like lighting wise that it might be difficult, for you to light up your streets. City Hall down in Frederick is going to go purple for the month, and Winchester Hall. We're working with Brunswick and Middletown and Walkersville and Thurmont and Urbana and Rotaries in each of those places, Chamber of Commerce, all to go purple. And so the hope is, again, just to raise that discussion to the next level where everybody's on the same page, talking it together to help facilitate parents and teachers, all those that are in positions of influence to help influence to move people into recovery. And it's really important to us to emphasize appreciation for those that experience significant compassion fatigue, those that are at the point of the spear, that are first responders, that work in therapy, to recognize that we stand with them, that we're so grateful for what they do and how they do it. So I probably went over my 4 minutes, but that's our request.
Okay.
Thank you so much for being a part of this.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
So I asked, are there any questions about what we're doing with it?
I don't have any questions. Anybody on the board have any questions about the National Recovery Proclamation?
Well, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you. It'd be hard for some people to get them. I don't know if we would be able to get some purple bulbs up here where people could come get them or not. But they're charging for them, right?
Well, if they're $5 a light bulb.
Yeah.
But I have some ideas that
Yes,
we've been
Martha.
kicking around at this level, that
Purple bows would be really easy.
I'm
around trees.
thinking, and I'd like to run them by the mayor, but we could, the sign out front, the community center, drape that in a purple banner. We could look into floodlights or spotlights out front that are purple that can shine up.
Oh,
I'd
that
have
would
to
be
get
so
with our
nice.
public works staff and see if we can shine those up purple. Reach out to the EBPA about the initiative so they can work with their businesses.
Miss Willits,
Maybe getting the posters.
are you interested in getting some of those bulbs from the electric?
Well, I don't know how, I don't know that we can.
I
get-
work in Frederick. I'm just throwing it out there. It'd probably be really easy for me to get there.
We could probably do,
Yes.
So Ed and Karen have a bunch of these, like the way that Shepherd worked with us, they just said, here, take them, and, if you sell them, then give us the money, if not, just give us the bulbs back. And so they have some, and we can get more to them as well. So there's a couple ways that I think we could get those to you if you need them to.
If those could be brought to the town office, is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I could.
Make them available to the community there?
I'd gladly pick up.
we
A
could do
bunch
that.
and
We
bring it here,
could consider purchasing them for the town, like 22 East Main Street or the town office here. And obviously, we can encourage staff to, wear purple on Fridays and get some of the posters. I'm sure there's a lot of initiatives that, staff and residents would be happy to jump.
Some of our businesses would be okay selling those bulbs also. Get the EBPA involved in that way also.
Right. So I think there's lots of different things that we can do to participate in this.
Not to go too
I'll
deep. on
email you tomorrow.
Yes, please
Okay.
do.
Sure.
Not to go too deep on this, but on Market Street, North Market Street, there's a theatrical lighting place that could perhaps provide gels. So you don't actually need to change the light bulbs out front, but just a gel, like a filter that you could put that lets you cast purple on the building. Might be worth it.
Any other questions? Anybody?
Now we need a motion.
We need a motion to accept the proclamation. Well, we want to read it first. Mr. Mayor, you want to read the last one since you read the other two?
I could read this one if
I
you
feel-
want.
Go ahead,
I'm
Commissioner.
on,
All
I'll
right,
go.
go ahead.
Hat trick.
Okay, Proclamation, National Recovery Month, September 2019. Whereas National Recovery Month is a national observance held every September to unify the community and reduce substance-related deaths and overdose. And whereas mental and substance use disorders affect all communities, and whereas nearly half of all overdose deaths involved in prescription painkillers are killing more people than in car accidents and homicides combined. And whereas 1 in 4 teens report having abused or misused a prescription drug at least once, 4 out of 5 people who use heroin started with recreational use of prescription painkillers. And whereas the town of Emmitsburg offers hope, resources, supports those activities, active addiction, recovery, and their loved ones. Let me read that one more time. Whereas the town of Emmitsburg offers hope and resources, supports those in active addiction, excuse me, is that addition or is that?
Should be
Addiction.
Should be, okay. Should be addiction, recovery, and their loved ones. Whereas the town of Emmitsburg invests in the future of its youth through prevention education, whereas the town of Emmitsburg joins Frederick County in going purple, standing together in conquering addiction. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the mayor and council of the town of Emmitsburg, Maryland, do hereby proclaim the month of September as National Recovery Month and call upon all citizens, community agencies, religious organizations, medical facilities, businesses to go purple, to bring awareness and understanding of mental health and substance use disorders, and to celebrate those living in recovery. Adopted the 5th day of August, 2019. This requires action, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I need a motion to accept the proclamation as presented.
I make a motion to accept the proclamation as presented related to National Recovery Month, September 2019.
Motion's been made by Commissioner O'Donnell. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Second by Commissioner Blanchard. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any nays? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Oh, that would be so
Sure.
good.
Great idea.
Come on up here.
Same, get the same position.
Same
we did
position.
before.
Grab your card.
I'm wearing purple.
It's never done tonight.
Oh, yeah, we should hold our purple cards.
So you should-
Share the purple.
No, I don't know. Think they know.
Hold them higher, hold them higher. Bring them up. Bring them up. A little higher for
Commissioner
your-
Blanchard,
No, I'm putting-
I can't see you.
Good idea.
It's a tough room.
Okay, I think I got everyone. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Good time.
That's good, dude. He was nice, dude. All right, that's good.
Alrighty, next on the agenda is consent agenda. We have none. Treasurer report.
Yes, sir, Mr. President, thank you. The Town of Emmitsburg cash activity as of July 29th, 2019. Cash balance July 1st, 2019, $5,387,055. On deposits during this period, $356,956. Withdrawals in the sum of $322,654. The operating balance forward is $5,421,357. And listed below are the top 10 checks issued by the town.
Any questions on the treasury report as presented? Any commissioners?
No.
Okay, we'll move on to the next agenda item. Planners report.
Zach, didn't our meeting was canceled on July, correct?
That's correct.
That's what I thought. I'm reading this going, meeting was held. I'm like, wait a minute. I don't think we had one. So our meeting actually was canceled in July, so I don't have anything to report.
No meeting at
Yeah.
planning.
I was
Alrighty, we're on to our regular agenda items.
pretty sure I was here. I'm not
Approval of the 2019 election judges.
Okay,
Mr. Mayor?
okay, thank you again. We had several people apply for positions, and their names are Tammy May, who's with us, Charlotte Mazaleski, Tracy Lewis, Patty Nell, and Sharon Hain. We have Charlotte and Sharon have prior experience, and Tammy was our alternate last year, Miss May, who's with us here. My recommendations for this year are Chief Judge Sharon Hain, Judge Charlotte Mazaleski, Judge Tammy May, alternate Judge Tracy Lewis. That's my recommendations for this year.
Recommendations been made by the mayor. Does anybody have any questions
I have a
or
question.
concerns?
Do we pass this all? I can't remember how we do this. Do we do it all at once, or do we have to do each individually?
Making a motion.
Yes.
You can do it all at once. It just says the approval of the 2019 election judges.
This is the mayor's recommendation. You could.
And then the recommendation of the mayor can be put into the minutes.
I'll make a recommendation to accept the mayor's recommendation for the 2019 election judges as follows: Chief Judge Sharon Hain, Judge Charlotte Mazaleski, and Judge Tammy May, with alternate Judge Tracy Lewis.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Ritz, second by Commissioner Buckman. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
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 Any nays? Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Just one request.
Thank you.
The individual who was not recommended, could we certainly make sure that they receive a thank you from the board and the
Yes.
mayor, please?
And also, thank you to everyone who stepped forward to
course, yeah,
to act as judges for the election. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Second on the agenda would be approval of the bid for the renovations of the pool house.
Good evening. As we all know, we invested in a essentially brand-new pool, community pool, through, majority of it was grant funding and town funding. In the 2 years that the new pool has been open, the attendance has skyrocketed. People are out enjoying the pool. It's a beautiful facility. If you haven't been there, please check it out. The concession stand now open, it's another benefit of the pool. But the pool house itself is aging. It is in bad condition. It's not in bad condition. It is in need of repair. It is not ADA compliant. So in an effort to bring the bathhouse to ADA compliance, staff put out an RFP to renovate our current bathhouse after the pool season ends, after Labor Day this year. So we initially put out a grant in April of 2018. The deadlines were due by May 3rd, and we only received one bid. We reissued, so that bid was not awarded. The bid itself was basically used to determine how much funding we would need for a grant. The second RFP was published in February 12th of 2019. Bids were due on March 11th. We only received 2 bids. Those bids were not awarded. The third RFP was published on May 1st, 2019. Deadlines, the bids were due on June 28th of 2019. We received 7 bids. For advertising purposes, it was advertised on the public notice on the town website, public notice on the town's Facebook page, notice on the MML classifieds, Frederick News Post publication, as well as email RFPs were sent to prior bidders. For the majority of this project will be grant funded through program Open Space, where we received a grant of $71,066. Program Open Space requires a 25% match, so the funds expended could be upwards of $94,755 to complete this project. As you can see further down, there's a list of the bids we received, the 7 contractors, the location of the contractors, and the amount of their bid. Staff held 2 meetings to review the bids. We did an initial bid opening, and staff was assigned bids to review. We held that on July 10th, and then we had a final review of bids and submittal of the staff recommendation on July 30th. We conducted, we did reference checks on the 4 lowest bidders for Omega, Warmold, General Contractor, and the Gettysburg Construction. All bids were extremely comparable in the understanding of the RFP and what work will be completed, and each bid was submitted with an option to add 4 ceiling fans to in each restroom. After reviewing all the bids and contacting the references and bid price and the understanding of what was required, staff recommends Omega Contracting and Consulting for $66,329 for the pool house rehabilitation project, for several reasons. One, all the work will be done as mentioned in the RFP. Everything that we requested will be completed. They provide a 1-year warranty. The bid was about the price town expected for the project. 3 reference checks were conducted, and all 3 were outstanding. For clubhouse renovation, the Croatan investments, they used the Omegas at least 12 times. The quality of work is great. Very happy with the work performed. Harbor Group Management used them for 3 pool houses and 2 club renovations. The quality of work was great, very responsive and attentive to any problems. And then UDR Incorporated, they did 3 clubhouses and 1 pool house renovation, and very happy with the work and no change orders. Pool houses and clubhouses are one of Omega's specialties. And then a check with the Better Business Bureau. They've been in business in this area since 2012. They had an office in the Carolinas for about 40 years. And with the Better Business Bureau, they have the highest rating of A+ with no complaints on file.
Can I ask a question?
Mr. Buckman.
I think we may have gone over this before, and I just don't remember. What kind of work is going to be done? What was on that RFP?
On the RFP, I just happen to have it with me. We're gonna do demolition and debris removal.
Of the
all
interior,
New, all
the
new.
inside.
All new water lines, water supply lines, hot and cold, shall be new, in addition of a new electric hot water heater, new mixing valve, and 3 frost-free hose bibs. Painting and patchwork as needed painting is needed in the men's room, women's room, and front desk. Walls and ceilings. The large metal beam that goes down the middle of the men and women's restroom is rusting in need of rust removal and painting, and patching of the cinder blocks. Electrical work, minor electrical work will be needed for the installation of hand dryers, 1 exhaust fan, and 2 electrical outlets, as well if we decide to go with the ceiling fan option. The installation of new partitions, 4 new changing room stalls in the men's room, 4 new changing stalls in the women's restroom, 4 new toilets in the women's restroom, and 3 new toilet stalls in the men's room. At least 1 changing stall and 1 toilet stall should be wheelchair accessible in each restroom. Installation of new sinks, toilets, and sink structures, 6 new toilets, 2 urinals, 6 toilet paper dispensers, 4 sanitary napkin receptacles, 7 new sinks, and 7 drip-proof soap dispensers. Installation of new showers and shower accessories. At least 1 shower will be wheelchair accessible in each restroom, which is equivalent of 8 shower stalls with wood framing and fiberglass, reinforced plastic panels, and 8 shower fixtures. 2 new interior doors leading into the men's and women's room, and 8 wall-mounted wooden benches, and then the optional ceiling fans.
Nice.
I do have one question. The ramp coming out of the bathroom, will that be replaced going into the pool?
That is not on, it is an option.
Does it need it?
It was
That's 'cause
not,
It's broken in half, and I think the one end sticks up, but the door's open for handicap outward, correct? Are they gonna
right,
be-
so the doors are gonna be adjusted as well. The ramp itself is not in this bid. That will be something that staff will review and see if there's a need to, and there are discussions of adding some ADA ramps, if funding permits in other locations at the pool house.
Okay. Any questions? Yeah, Commissioner O'Donnell.
Thank you. Sorry, I didn't mean to step on your toes. The door to the utility room, it opens to the parking lot area. Will we be replacing that? My concern is, as a safety door, a predecessor of yours, sorry, expressed concerns at one point in time about that access. Is it possible to give?
That's not included in this RFP. It's something that, as we start reviewing things, if funding permits,
Sure.
I'll add that to the list.
Okay. And the other piece is, as this bid came in under the grant rather substantially, do we run into any issues related to like change orders or modifying it? Are we restricted to what the original sum is in the bid? Or do we have any latitude, like if we have to work up to the grant sum?
Well,
If I
the
said bid,
grant
I'm
sum,
sorry.
that was the maximum that POS would give us,
Correct,
and then
yeah,
we
yeah.
have to come up with the 25% match. If we don't meet it, they just revert the funds back.
Okay.
In these references that we checked, they typically don't come out with change orders. They do the work that's required.
Okay.
If we wanted to add some work, that probably wouldn't be covered under the grant because it wasn't in the scope that was written.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
I think it does, yes. Thank you.
So we couldn't get the ramp or anything considered under
Not
that?
under the grant.
Under the grant, as you guys know, my family uses the pool a lot, and I have soppy bathing suits and towels. At a pool I've seen before, they had a spinner in the bathhouse that you put your towel and your bathing suits in, it spins it and takes all that excess water out. If there's room for it, can we consider
I can
putting
add
those
that.
in?
I can add that to the list. Spinner, is that what it
Spinner.
is? It's just a spinner?
It's a spinner. It doesn't dry it. It just spins all the excess water out. And it takes 10 seconds, I think.
Any other questions?
I have a few.
Commissioner Ritz?
The Omega offers a 1-year warranty on all their work. Did any of the other vendors provide similar or better warranties?
No, some didn't mention warranties, and the maximum that we had was 1 year.
And I guess during that year, as you know, I always like local vendors. Obviously, this one's the furthest away. Do they have any other hidden fees like mileage
No.
to come here?
Well, we don't have their contract yet, but it's not specified in their proposal, so that wouldn't be something that we would agree to, but it's never been mentioned.
Okay.
They said they were very responsive to any issues or any problems that arose. Catonsville, what's that, about 45 minutes, hour?
Hour 20.
Yeah.
Down Route 40 here.
Okay.
And Mr. Ritz is driving, yeah, a little.
Hey, now.
Any other questions, Mr. Ritz?
The deputy's here. Now, come on. References. I'm assuming the other references were pretty similar. They're all reputable,
Yeah, the other
outstanding
four
companies.
references that we checked, everybody, nobody had anything bad to say about any of the contractors, no.
And I guess the final thing, I like the price a lot. It's just a lot lower, and it's to me it's almost like a red flag. But
It was, and I'll be very honest, it was initially for me as well, but after we sat down and started going through the bid and everything was comparable across the board, it's just in each category, everybody else was just a little bit more expensive in each category. And so then that added up to be a big part of the difference in the pricing. And then when we spoke to all these references, I mean, this is their specialty, this is what they do. And I think maybe that's why they can keep their costs down as well, but,
They know their business, yeah.
okay,
Mr. Sweeney?
Commissioner?
I'm finished. Yes, thank you.
Are you-
Yes, I'm good. No, good to go. You're good.
I'll just throw in, a long time ago, part of the reason I got involved in being a commissioner and being involved in the committees with the town related to the pool and the discussions, serious and jokingly, about closing the pool down. And I've always found the pool is an absolute priority for our community, and I think now we're seeing the value in that. How many people are using it? People are coming from across the county to use it. It's a real benefit to our community. I mean, it's even raising funds for the Lions Club. I mean, it's pretty profound. And I'll go back to when, Mr. Joy and I, evoking a name from the past, we made this a priority, and I just want to thank everybody, for following through on this for so long and so consistently. It's been a marathon, but we have a product, and I think it's really delivering for our community, improving the standard of
Thank you
living
for
around here.
advocating for
Well, let me tell you, it's been a team effort. It's not me, but I'm just
I
Well,
agree.
back then when
giddy
I
to see
wasn't
it,
there,
Yeah.
I agree because I'm there and I asked, there's a lot of people who come from the other towns and a lot from Frederick. You wouldn't
Walkersville.
believe the people who come from Urbana and Frederick all the way up here.
Yeah.
Because I asked the people where they come from, because a lot of them I know that aren't from town.
Right.
They come here because it's clean, they like the staff, the view is beautiful. I'm looking at the mountain. I mean, they're not looking at all concrete buildings and stuff.
And it's a real community pool, they sense
And
that.
and they feel safe here. That's exactly what the lady told me when I was asking. And I asked a couple separate ladies. Some were military. One a family lives in Fairfield. A lot of people from Fairfield come down too. So I mean, the pool gets used by a lot of people. Not from Emmitsburg, but and they pay the outside
Right.
prices. So and we have a lot of schools, a lot of camps and schools from Frederick come here to use our
Right.
pool. So their pool's getting used, at least I know triple what it was used before, this year by itself, because Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays, all the camps come, and the pool's complete, they have to use all 3 lifeguards and on duty the whole day because the pool's completely full, and that's what you want. So, and they all pay here before they even come, they pay the town office before they even come to the pool. They don't have to, they just get their bands when they get there. So it's really,
And I know we're still not making a profit on the pool, but the town is happy, and it's
Yes.
so rare for a community to have a pool. It's
Right.
a dying thing, and so as long as I'm here, I'm gonna advocate for that.
yeah. The only thing that I've seen that was bad was at the pool that I've been there at it is the skimmers. The skimmers cracked the pool all the way around the corners, wherever the skimmers are at. The concrete had cracked and they couldn't do anything about that.
Recent? With a new pool?
Yes, with a new pool. And it's not under warranty, and there's no way to fix it because of the kind of skimmers it was that staff had checked, and make sure, because I was wondering too, and they, if you need to see the thing emailed, Kathy has it.
Yeah,
But,
okay.
this came from the pool contractor who put it in. He knew they were gonna be a problem with the skimmers in the corners, so. Other than that, everything's been
Your
perfect.
skimmers are mandated by the health department. They're the ones that
Yeah.
you have to use, and he told us that this would happen. And there's really nothing that you can do. There's no guarantee if they redid it that it would not crack again. So, we'll have to deal with it
A
for
future
now.
consideration.
Right.
But the pool's been used. I've seen people doing, classes before the pool opens for swimming lessons. I've seen that. I've also, seen seniors using it for swimming lessons. I can't tell you how good the staff has been up there this year. Kelsey, she's leaving early, and that's a shame, because she has to go back to school. But she's a wonderful pool manager. It's been running pretty good, and with Amy's help and all that up there, the pool's been running pretty good this year. They've been keeping up on everything. So,
Okay. Very good.
Well, I know we're digressing, but Amy has personally painted that pool house and tried to keep it together for all these years, so a shout out to her.
Yes. Amy takes very pride in that pool.
Yeah.
Yes.
alrighty. I need a motion to accept the bid for Omega for $66,000. And 66,
I'll make a motion to accept the Omega bid for the renovation of the pool house for $66,329.
motion's been made by Commissioner Buckman. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Second by Commissioner Blanchard. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
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 Aye. Any nays? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Third on the agenda is awarding the Stand 5 Forestry bid for the town.
Mr. President, before
Yes.
the town staff makes their presentation, I was wondering, I don't know the significance of voting on this evening. If we postponed it another month, we just received our information this evening. I, for one, like to review things ahead of time just to get an idea where we're going, maybe even have some questions. Would it be permissible for me to make a motion to table this until next month? Not saying that the town staff would give us a great presentation this evening, but I just feel more comfortable in having information not the night of the meeting.
Does town staff
The
have a problem with
timely?
that, bringing that back next month?
The only thing was DNR was or not DNR, the Forest Service was hoping to get the project started with the contractor sooner than later, because then you start getting into winter, you start getting in the fall with the wet and wanting it to dry out.
If we were to vote on this evening and it passed, when would the contractor start?
I believe once they get their MDE stream crossing permits and their town permit, that they're hoping to start within the next month.
So it'd still be a month delay. I'll just. I'll throw it out there. I'd like to make a motion to table the award Stand 5 Forestry bid for consideration at next month's.
I'll second
Town
that.
meeting.
I agree.
I do have one thing. Do we want to have a special meeting on this, or
I mean, you're
we
talking-
can have a second meeting?
I think that would be reasonable.
I would
mean,
be
a good
agreeable to that. That would
compromise.
be a little extra time. I mean, I don't think a month is necessary, but
Can we do that,
15th
Kathy?
or whatever.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Can we have a second meeting just on this forestry thing and a presentation for that? Just done on it for like a special, it won't
Why
be a long
can't-
meeting.
Can we make a presentation tonight, and then you can decide not to vote on it? That way you have the information, you can review the information. If we need to come back, then we certainly can come back, because what we'll have to do is we'll have to bring we'll have to get a contract together before they can even start work. So, that's something that has to be approved by the board as well. So, I mean, obviously, it's the
You do
board's.
the presentation tonight, and then we can have a special meeting to consider the vote. How's that for the second meeting?
I'm not available.
For a second
Sorry.
meeting?
Second meeting in August, I'm not available.
And actually, I won't be either. I'll be in Ocean City.
So I would prefer that we make the presentation, and then if the board decides they want to table it, then the board can table it. But at least if we get the information out, it's something that you can think about, and if you have questions, and we can answer it outside of this, you know,
That's
if you want to
reasonable.
email.
Do I need to withdraw my motion then?
You haven't made it. You just suggested it.
No, I made a motion. You
You
second,
second.
Oh, you did. You're right.
Yes.
Mr.
Yes,
President?
You have to take.
Withdraw.
Yeah, withdraw.
Do I need to make another motion for town staff to present it this evening and not
No, because they already have it on the agenda.
for consideration?
Yeah, because we don't have to consider it. That's for consideration.
Okay. Well, then
It doesn't say you have to vote,
then I withdraw my motion.
right?
Yes.
Okay, the presentation for this? You want to go ahead and
Yes.
start?
The board approved the